Hey guys, so a review of the Ford Fiesta Mark 7 2016 year. It's the 1.4 litre model. So I just got some bullet points here. I'm just going to go through them one by one as I found the car. I've driven this now from London to Wales on motorway, driven around loads of little roads in town, around the town called Carmarthen in Wales, and now we're going back on a country road to London on A roads now. So first of all, throttle response. It's an electronic throttle. There's no connection between how far you push the throttle and how much power you get. I mean, it's completely random from what I can tell. The computer, you push the pedal and the ECU decides how much power it's going to give you. Basically it makes the car like a nightmare to drive on A roads because you never know how much power it's going to let you get, and you don't know how fast the power is going to come in. So it destroys the car. It's not like, for example, you can press the throttle pedal like a certain amount, and then you can feel the amount of power that the engine's giving you changing. So I imagine you're pushing the throttle and then the throttle body is adjusting the plate to give you a different amount of throttle, even though your foot is steady. It's not good. The brakes, plenty of power, but they go from 0% braking to 20% braking. It's very hard to give it a very, it's hard to, nice Ferrari 458. It's hard to give the, it's hard to brush the brakes. Like I said, it goes from 0% to 20%, and then from then on it's great. From 20 to 100 it's good power with not a lot of effort on the brake pedal, which is nice. But that 0 to 20 can be, it leads to a bit of a jerky experience driving around town, for example. The ride is okay. It is slightly, the ride is slightly wooden, similar to the Corsa of a similar year. But it feels more mechanical than the Corsa ride, so it just feels stiff and not wooden, which is, it's a small difference, but it does make the car feel completely different. What else? The steering is great. I'm not sure if this is a mechanical steering rack or an electric steering rack, but it's a very quick rack. It's very responsive. You don't need to turn the wheel very much to get a response. You can turn the steering wheel a small amount and you get a big amount of steering lock, which makes it very nice to drive. You know, you can drive it with your shoulders only. You don't need to be, you know, big movements with your hands, which is nice. There's good feel through the steering wheel as well. Again, I don't know if it's real feel or fake, but I get the impression that I can understand how much grip there is with the front wheel, with the front wheels, which is nice. What else? Interior. I'd say the interior is nice. It's nothing fancy. I suppose the biggest letdown with it is the infotainment system. The screen is small and it's not touchscreen, which I find in this day and age, I think it's essential that it's touchscreen. Otherwise, you know, you may as well be using your mobile phone. It does feel a bit antiquated, definitely. I did touch it because I thought there might be a chance that it was touchscreen, but it's not, and it's just not very sophisticated. The on-screen menu, it's not up to the standard of Opel or Volkswagen Audi Group, for example. No way. It seems like an afterthought. The materials, I quite like the materials. The steering wheel is a soft touch leather feel. It doesn't feel like rubber, even though it probably is. So it's nice. It's not a thick rim, but it's alright. It's not thin. It's okay. The dashboard material is kind of a fabric looking plastic covering the top of the dashboard, which is not unpleasant to the touch, and there is a bit of softness in it. You got piano black accents going down the center console, surrounding the radio and the heater controls. Heater controls, everything is nicely to hand. There is a lot of buttons on the stereo system. I don't know why it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Telephone. I think I prefer just to use the contacts menu on my bloody mobile phone. Connected Bluetooth, okay, very easy to do that. Easier than the last review from that Oppo. Yeah, because it hasn't got touchscreen, I suppose they need more buttons. If you have a touchscreen, you can lose a lot of the buttons, I think. So that's one thing to note. Seats-wise, seats are excellent, excellent. I've been sitting in these for a long time, and I don't have any aches or pains whatsoever, which is a really it's nice. The seats are nice and soft. They're quite supportive actually around the torso. Fabric seats, and they've got quite good grip on them. So I'd give the seats, they're easy to get in and out of, and they're also quite grippy. Don't get me wrong, they're not bucket seats, but for what they are, they're great. They're good. What else? The horn is a bit of a letdown. It's very hard to get the little boop on the horn. It's either on or off, hitting around the outside of the horn button. You know, the horn is in the center of the steering wheel. Beeping around the outside of the perimeter of the plastic doesn't really get you anything. You really have to hit it solidly in the middle. So there's not a lot of finesse with the horn. Grip generally, just to go back to the chassis, it feels very grippy chassis. I think it's going to understeer eventually, but it's not something that's immediately obvious as a problem. Like we're coming through some quite fast corners here, but the car does really stick well. It does feel sticky, which is nice. Air conditioning system is good, nice and cool. So that's really it on the interior. Steering wheel, like I said, it's okay. It's got some chrome accents, but whatever you want, you know. It's not unpleasant, but I would say it's not up to the modern standards. There is like an LED display in the dashboard, but it's very basic. It's digits and dots. It's not the sort of display you're gonna get graphics off. Generally, I would say the interior is not up to par. It's not up to modern standards. Mirrors wise, nice big mirrors, adjustable. If there's one thing that maybe is, when I first started driving the car, the handles for the rear doors are a lot higher than the handles for the front door, and they're quite big, the door handles, and you can see them easily in the mirror because they stick out a bit. So maybe it catches your eye, the door handle sticking out in the mirror, so you think there's something there when it actually isn't. But I think it's because the door handles stick out so much, they're catching my eye. I'm not used to that. Usually you know how door handles are on the modern cars, they're usually quite flush with the body, so that's quite unusual. Rear seat space, I don't know, I haven't been there, but it looks alright. Nice pattern on the seats, they look decent enough. Storage capacity, there's not a lot of room in the center console. Like the cubby hole in the center console is not very big at all. You've got a few token coin slots which are not much good for anything. You've got a USB slot, which is you connect to the charger, and it connect. I'm not sure. We haven't tried to connect it. I think you could probably connect the Android to the USB. It's got a 12-volt output here, a cigarette lighter, no ashtray that I can see. It's got some storage between the seats, 2 cup holders by the handbrake. Handbrake is still mechanical, which is nice. It's got 2 electric windows in the front, so I suppose the rear windows must be manual. There's a feature on it where it won't roll back, so if you can put it in first, you don't need to do a hill start. You don't need to put the handbrake on, it will hold the car. Not forever, it'll hold it for like a couple of seconds. So I suppose if you don't want to do a hill start with a handbrake, you use it for that. but if you anything longer than a couple of seconds, then the car will roll back. So that's something to bear in mind. I don't know how you would reset that actually, the hill start. I suppose if you push the brake again, it resets the timer, and then you can lift off the brake and it will hold the car there. Anyway, you have to push the brake because you can't. It's on a timer. The hill start function. That's about it for the seat. Like I said, the seat's good. It's comfortable. This is the main thing. It's soft, and I think you could probably go a really long distance in this car without any numb bum areas. There's no armrest in the center console. No big loss there. The armrest and the doors at a nice height. The mirror adjustment is got a nice big button there, nice big circular thing for the direction, and a nice big switch in the middle. So easy enough to adjust the mirrors on the move. The stereo's great. A good bass on this system. I was shocked. It's like there's a small subwoofer in the car. The bass does go. It's like a subwoofer. No, it's great. I don't know how loud you can turn up the bass, but at normal listening levels, going down the road, you get it goes down. It hits the subwoofer notes for sure. Quietness. It is a very quiet car. We're driving along a quiet type of tarmac at the moment, but very quiet inside. Even so, its sound insulation is great. What don't I like? The wiper system. Wipers are okay. They're not automatic wipers. Headlights, they're okay. What does annoy me is the bloody thing for the seat belt. That does not quit. That will keep beeping at you forever, I think. Fuel economy, it seems fantastic. Doesn't really move much at all, but then again, I haven't really been. I've been going pretty slowly for the fuel economy to be good. What else? It's got an airbag. You can switch the airbag on and off for the passenger seat. It's the first time I've seen that actually on a car. Air conditioning seems quite powerful. It's got a heated front and rear screens. And not something that you're going to use. We're in August, so it's not something that really come in handy at the moment, but it's a nice thing to have. For some reason, the mirror is on the driver's sun visor, not on the passenger. Which, well, I take it back. Both sun visors have got a mirror in them. So that's about it on the interior. All in all, great. Not super modern. If I was going to buy a new car, I want a new. If I'm going to pay the money, new car money for a car, then I want new car tech. And the Ford doesn't really tick the boxes then. What else? Oh wow. Power. This is a 1.4 engine, and I can tell you it's slow. It's deadly slow. For around town only. For anything else, sometimes if you can get it right with the throttle, you get some power when you push the throttle, but I'd say 99% of the times pushing the throttle doesn't really get you any meaningful acceleration, which is a shame. One thing I've found with the throttle is if you pump it, like go full throttle off, you can sort of reset it, and then it's more responsive to what you're asking from. But you don't want to be doing that, pumping the throttle. It can't be good for the fuel economy for sure. Visibility, yeah, visibility is great. The A-pillars are a long way in front of you, so they don't get in. There's no chance of them getting in the way when you're looking out of a T-junction, which is a little bit of a rarity, I think, in the newer cars. It's well out of the way. The bottom of the windscreen is. It's got to be a meter away from me. It's miles away. There's no chance of no chance of touching the bottom of the windscreen, which gives it a kind of a spacious feel in front, I suppose. I said about the door handles with regards to the visibility. It's like a 15-inch wheel on this car, and as you would expect, it's a very nice ride. Surprisingly enough, I'm not sure how much this car weighs, but generally it does feel light, and I think it is light because it is good on the tyres. when you loaded up the steer and you're putting some force through the chassis, you don't feel as if if you're rolling over onto the tyre wall, which you can sometimes feel on heavy cars with a big tyre wall, you know. This, I don't get it at all. It does feel like it feels like a low profile tyre. I'm not sure how they've done that, if there's something going on with the suspension geometry when it loads up, or if it's just a light car in general. But it just feels stuck. I don't think there's any reason to fit any low profile tyres, because like I said, the tyres are on it now, they do feel like low profile tyres. You don't feel like they're running out of grip. It feels sticky, as I said earlier. Wind noise, non-existent. In summary, I would say it's a nice car. If anything, the seating position, let me just cover that. It's great, great adjustment on the steering wheel, plenty of up and down adjustment, plenty of in and out. If there's one criticism about the seating position, is that you can't get the seat very low. You do feel as if you're sitting on top of the car, not in it. This is something that the new Volkswagen, new Seats have got down real well. With the adjustment on the wheel, you can get down really low in the car, but Ford definitely, you feel as if you're sitting on top of the car. In summary, it's a nice enough car to drive. Buy-in proposition, there's a good chassis in it from the factory, but I would want to, the seating position is a problem. It needs to be lower, and also for the money I'm going to want a more graphics in the on the dashboard, rather than these dot matrix LED displays that are not really cutting the mustard. Power wise, I think it's massively underpowered as well. It needs more power. So the 1.4 normally aspirated, I don't think is a good whatever it costs to get something with 120 horsepower, it's going to be well worth the money, because it is grossly underpowered as it is. Purely from a driving perspective, it is quite a nice car. Considering a car in this sector for this price range, I would say for sure take the Fiesta for a drive, just to give yourself some perspective on what the chassis can feel like. And if you want something perspective on a good interior, take something like the new Corsa out. The Corsa interior, I think, is a generation ahead of this one. But all in all, good car. I think it's a good ATB car. Nothing special, but the chassis has got a little twinkle in its eye. That's the review, guys. Hopefully it's helpful, and please vote on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again next time.